Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 thriller Strange Darling. The film is written and directed by J.T. Molnar and it stars Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner. Right, okay, this film focuses on two characters. One is simply called the Lady and one is called the Demon. And they are played respectively by Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner. The film is split into 6 chapters, I think, and an epilogue. And it doesn't tell this story in sequence. So I think it starts at like chapter 3 or something, and it keeps flitting back and forth. So it's a bit like watching a bit of a jigsaw puzzle, this film, and the pieces kind of finally fall in place. And what is it about? Well, we have Willa Fitzgerald's character, the lady, and Kyle Gallner's character, the demon. They are having a rendezvous in a car. They are deciding whether or not they're going to have a night together in a hotel room to do what adults do, of course. Things get a little bit weird, a little bit freaky, a little bit dangerous. And escalate way out of control. You are left as a viewer wondering what has happened and what has led to these incredibly dangerous events that are taking place. Right, what are my thoughts on Strange Darling? Now, I'm careful there not to kind of give away too much of the plot here, because this is one of those films that you want to go into blind. I'll be honest, this film wasn't on my radar, but I've been hearing a lot of buzz about this film. Nothing but positive stuff. Film of the year type talk that I've been hearing from people that I trust. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to check this one out. And I'm damn glad I did, because this really is an excellent film, an excellent thriller. Really does work very, very well as a film. Fabulous narrative, brilliantly written, fabulous performances by the two leads, and very hard to predict. It's one of those films where it kind of subverts your expectations and flip things on its head. What you think's going on isn't going on, and that's why it kind of tells the tale out of sequence. Now, when you first start watching this, that is indeed very jarring, and I wasn't keen. The first 5, 10, 15 minutes, I was a bit like, am I going to enjoy this? Is this going to be a waste of my time? I wasn't liking how the story was being told. And then as you kind of start getting used to these characters, you kind of get used to a little bit what's going on. You start feeling like you kind of understand what's going on. And then the film kind of pokes you with a stick now and again to kind of remind you actually what you think's going on is not what you expect, really. And that is the best thing about this film, is it's full of surprises. It's very, very brutal, very, very violent at times, and a truly outstanding central performance by Willa Fitzgerald, who has been on a roll since Reacher season 1. She's done quite a few things, and she's been pretty excellent in everything I've seen, and she's definitely, obviously, on the up as an actress. I mean, outstanding performance here by her. So many layers to this character, simply called the Lady, that you think you know her, but you really, really don't, and it can't have been an easy performance to pull off. But the same should be said for Kyle Gallner in many ways. Again, tremendous performance by him. I've seen him in a few things. He's always been great. This, for me, is probably his standout role. But again, it won't be what you expect from him in regards to his performance and the character that you think he's playing, if you like. And it's very difficult to talk at length about this film without giving spoilers away, and I desperately don't want to do that, because it will be a a pleasant surprise for you when you're watching this. It feels really fresh as well. The film, it almost at times had a Tarantino feel to it. The way the dialogue was going, because pretty much big chunks of this film is just these two characters having conversation with each other. Some of it's fairly normal conversation, some of it's quite erotic conversation, some of it is very dark and dangerous conversation, but all of it is interesting. All of it is intriguing, and it is very, very well written. Very much like a lot of Tarantino stuff. It felt like it was being made by a director who was on the cusp of greatness here. Very, very talented, I think, this writer-director. He's created a very, very unique and original film. And I'm not always a fan of, like, films that are kind of split into chapters and then kind of chopped around a bit. The only other one that springs to mind that I think does it flawlessly and in an outstanding way is Pulp Fiction. And I'm not trying to compare the two. I know I've already tried to compare him a little bit to Tarantino, but it's got that kind of narrative going through it. It jumps from kind of one narrative to the other, but it does it for a very, very specific reason, to kind of keep you on the edge of your seat as to what's going on. There was a point in this film early on when it kept jumping between chapters when I'm kind of like, oh, just show it in sequence. Because I want to know, because it starts off showing this chapter and it's quite a scene. And you're like, God almighty, how have they got to that stage? And then it jumps right back to like chapter 1 or 2 or something like that. And it's more dialogue and stuff. And you're kind of like, oh, and I was like, please just show it in sequence. I want to know, how this all kind of happened in sequence. But you really don't. Because when you've kind of watched it all and the jigsaw puzzles have been kind of put in place, you're glad you didn't watch it in sequence, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I'm not going to go on too much more about this film because I really want you to go and watch this one, guys. I don't want to risk spoiling anything for you. Needless to say, it is definitely worth the time. It's worth your effort. It's a superbly made film with two cracking central performances that will keep you on your edge of your seat and guessing till the very end. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.